corruption is really damaging to an organization. Obviously, the misuse of resources and power will not only bring short-term benefits to certain already powerful and already wealthy people in the organization, but it also brings burden to the less powerful but most hardworking members of that organization, who often have to bear the brunt of the damages done by the corrupt elites. It happens a lot, not just to companies but also nations. Countries which have weak transparency and regulatory basis to prevent corruption are rife with corruption activities and consequently are perceived to be highly corrupt, as indicated by the annual Corruption Perception Index or CPI. Many solutions have been offered by ways of combating corruption. An Indonesian columnist called Reza Watimena published an opinion piece in Indonesia's leading newspaper Kompas in 2011 about something he called technocracy. His concept of technocracy doesn't refer to governance by technocrats or technical experts in science. Technocracy, in his concept, is automating all bureaucratic and governance processes and activities. By removing the middleman and the trust factor from these processes, we can trust in the programs written into the code of the automated system that no funds will be embezzled or withheld nefariously from these transactions. This way, we can allocate the money being lost in corruption for more socio-economic welfare improvement programs. Now, the peer-to-peer network app blockchain can be a great platform to facilitate its technocracy for the e-government system, whatever you would like to call it, through a system called a decentralized autonomous organization or DAO. Sounds alien to you? We will talk to our colleague Adela Negara to understand the DAO better. So, in systems run by central power and where the pool of data and flow of information is also centralized in like one central ledger, how can it lead to more vulnerability toward corruption?
Well, the centralized system rely on one single central power. This power tends to be corrupt. It is not that unusual for these powerful central authorities to not want to be transparent about what is going on in the organization to other members which are less powerful than them. So for instance, the treasury of the government body can just steal money from the national budget and get away with it because they have the power to access the financial result which not allow the other civil servant, especially the low ranking one, to access the document. Considering this limitation of centralized system in terms of managing the transparency and demanding accountability of the power, that the decentralized solution can possibly be a great solution to mitigate corruption, and especially in the sector which impact a livelihood of all peoples.
Yeah, and just to take the spotlight away from the government for a little bit, because like the government is the easiest and most cliche example of corruption, right? But then it can also happen in corporations, like many corporations, like the finance manager, because like she is the one who have access to the financial data, who manage to embezzle money, and then like when the company has to do downsizing, usually like the most hardworking, honest employees are being getting rid of. Yeah, because they're not close to the big boss. So, yeah, interesting. Okay, and then what are the characteristics of the DAO and also its decentralized technology, which can help overcome the limitations of the systems which run on central powers?
You know what's the cool thing about DAOs? It runs on peer-to-peer network and it doesn't rely on one source of power. Thus, it giving all the organization members equal authority. They remove all the middlemen who usually collect illegal fees from transaction by automating all its transaction activities. They can also ensure more transparency and accountability. In short, DAO means the decentralized autonomous organization. This organization allows the participant to be proactive in the decision making. Another cool thing about DAO is it's automated using smart contract and token based on algorithm and code to validate transaction and activities going on there.
So like the DAO runs on a peer-to-peer network, right? And then how does this allow more transparency in the system to prevent the financial manager stealing money by marking up reports, for instance?
Well, the core feature of the DAO that which can potentially mitigate the corruption is the transparency. The DAO runs on peer-to-peer network whereby all the documents, data, information stored there is readily available to be accessed in all the nodes. This way, all information and data regarding the company or the government against its operation will be out in the open for everyone to see.
So the DAOs are not perfect, obviously, and then it depends heavily on how it's being coded in order to ensure it delivers all the potentials it promises, right?
Yeah.
So how does coding matter in this situation?
Well, like all the technology, coding plays a vital role in ensuring that it will give the public all the benefit it promises. In terms of transparency and accountability, so we can only count on the programmers' integrity and dedication to ethic, which will determine how they will program the system. After all, the DAO is just a tool. Like everything else, it can be used to achieve harm or beneficial result depending on the intention of its user, right?
Yeah, exactly. It is really exciting to see how DAOs can be adopted by various governments in the future. At least with its European blockchain strategy, the European Union has already adopted blockchain technology into its document management activities. So does Estonia, Brazil, and some parts of the United States. This can further mainstream the DAO technology among governments in the future. But it can also be applied in corporations as well to prevent fraudulent and corrupt practices, which also do happen quite often in private institutions. We'll see how this new technology fares in the future.